Okay, ladies, first off, I want to welcome you to the Sacred Raven. This is where we are creating the spiritual entrepreneur's lifestyle, right? Your sacred sanctuary, right? Your spiritual space and sacred place for business empowerment and spiritual success. Now, having said all that, welcome. I wanted to speak to you about something I believe is an important quality that is raw with us, that comes natural, which honestly I believe is an empath superpower. And as crazy as it may seem, a lot of people have trouble in this area. It's not hard to see. It seems to me that it's getting quite worse. People are unable to get along. No one is willing to listen to one another. People are far too anxious to speak first and not allow the other person to get a word in. And that takes up a lot of energy. When you consider how domineering that can be, how pushy that energy can be when you're forcing your words on another individual, it's almost vampiric-like. It can take away from that individual, particularly when they are upset or feeling down. Now, this article is really nice because it started out with an example of an employee who is normally very uppity, very happy, gets things done, very organized and snappy, right? And so the boss comes in, sees this, passes them by, goes to the office, gently puts their things away while thinking about their employee, and then proceeds to go out to find out what is wrong. Now, this is when you got to consider how you approach the situation, okay? This is the story here. He shows sensitivity to Pat. This is the employee. But also organizational wisdom. He understood that very little productive work would be accomplished unless he attended to her needs. Rather than ignoring her signals of distress, he decided to meet them head on and use his own EQ to help Pat. Now, this is, and it should be, a required behavior of anybody in a position of authority, supervisory, or leadership. And especially with one who considers themselves a spiritual entrepreneur, a blogger, spiritual blogger, inspirational speaker, a coach, and a healer. Now, I'm not saying that they do need it, okay? Most of us are built this way, right? One of the important things to do when coming in to mediate a situation is being able to read the energy in the room. Having the ability to become stronger as an empath when it comes to communication, I believe, will be your number one key to be a strong leader, to carry on your mental strength as a leader, and your ability to build relationships, build great clientele, and to be successful overall in business. Now, right here, it gives suggestions for those who need to practice upon their empathic abilities, okay? Their emotional intelligence. So right here, one of the number one things is something that comes natural to us is, we honestly are genuinely care. about the emotions of another human being. Right? We can identify with them. We've been there. We can connect. Listen. Coming without the distortive thinking. Like, oh my God, Pat always does this. Why must she do this every day? This is hurting me at work. Why must she do this thing? That's not how we want to come to the situation. In fact, if you know anything about Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the book The Four Agreements, one of the things he says is don't take anything personal. That's one of the main agreements. And that is true. If you don't take anything personal, and you aren't oversensitive and easily triggered, what you're going to get mirrored back is somebody who's not also going to take offense and easily get triggered. You're going to come to this situation openly and with a warmth and an energy that allows that person to open up to you. And they will get comfortable and they will speak to you. And therefore, you can address the problem at hand. Okay? I like here that what we see is like a little diagram kind of thing that explains, the behavior of the individual and what that behavior could possibly mean. Now, for most of us, our intuition is very strong, and we're able to use that when observing the cues of another person. Our memories are very good, and so just from past memory, by those of us who pay close attention to the individuals around us so that we can see how they might be feeling, where we might be able to come in and help them, just by memory of the social cues, are we better able to handle many situations, many people that come across us with a varying amount of problems, especially very difficult to handle people. That's when you're going to want to do what? Have a lot of patience, have understanding, relate to them, allow them to know that you understand, not jumping in to share any story of yours, but giving them space so that you can listen and follow along with what they have to say. Now, click that down. I'm going to kind of come down here because I believe listening, empathic listening, is the most important aspect. And this is when you're going to need to use those superpowers of yours, my sweet, beautiful women, my empathic women. Maybe a lot of you aren't as strong as you would like to be in this area. And so I would suggest to you that you strengthen these qualities, because this is going to be your biggest area of success. All right? Think about the areas that we're working in. It requires projecting a feeling onto others, inspiring others, relating to others, helping others solve their problems, right? This is what we're doing. We're stepping into a role of leader, but not in the traditional sense. We're coming in as understanding, loving, and patient people. And these are the ones that are going to allow you to be highly successful when sending your message across. Without this, you may as well forget it. Look at right here. This is why empathy is so vital. I loved how this woman had put it, right? We're missing it in a really big way today. And there's so many people out there that are desperate just to have somebody listen, to simply listen. You know, being able to have somebody there who can listen to you and go through the situation with you in an open and private and comforting way, where they can feel at ease with you, it allows them to not only get things out, but it helps them better be able to solve their problems, because you'll be there as the intermediary to help direct them to those answers, because you'll be providing certain techniques that allows them to speak up and literally find the answers on their own just by the few words that you might be putting in. Now, let me see if I can get this so that you can see me. Okay. Because this is very important. I'm going to wrap this up in a second. All right. Here we go. Uh-huh. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. So, when you're dealing with another person and they really need you to listen, they have a huge problem, and they might be erratic. They might be very down. They might be hurt. Whatever the situation is, what you want to do is use those empathic super listening powers. You want to be in that moment with them where you are one-on-one connecting with them, connect with their energy. You want to feel them in that moment. This way they will feel that. It will calm them down, and it will help them put them in a place where they can feel your genuine sincerity, your honest interest, and it will put them in a place where they are now comforted and they're better able to speak. And you want to be completely focused and give them undivided attention at this point, where they know that you have their full attention, okay? And what's more, here and there, you want to provide bits and pieces of things that lets them know that you're following along, you know, with, okay, uh-huh. You want to nod, show that with your own body language that you are following along. You also want to paraphrase, okay? So, and this lets them know that you've been listening and following along the whole time. So they will say, so what you want to say, so what you're saying is, or I'm guessing what you're trying to get across is blah, 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 blah. You also want to come in with open-ended questions. This allows them to answer those questions and come up with those things from their own mind. This way, they sort of speak out aloud their own answers. This helps them. It gets them thinking, and it gets them to come up with scenarios, and it helps them to problem solve in a way that they may not have been able to before, because you're there to help them focus and direct them by simply asking these questions. So it's the who, what, where, why kind of things. You don't want to fill anything in for them. You don't want to go on and on about your own situation, although you might want to share something small that you can a story of some kind, something that happened to you that lets them know that you completely relate. This will really settle them and put them at ease. This helps fantastically. But it's that empathic listening. It's tuning in. It's connecting with their energy. It's using your intuition, watching that body language, being in tune with that individual, showing that you resonate and that you understand, guiding them to their own light, guiding them to their own ability to problem solve, guiding them to be able to use that critical thinking capacity that they do have, and allowing them the opportunity to freely be able to speak without feeling like there's going to be judgment. If you're able to do this, you're going to be highly successful. And I say this because social awareness, having the emotional intelligence, is, without it, there's simply not going to be any connection. There's not going to be any understanding. Without that, things will fall apart. Building great relationships, building great connections with people require that you are able to understand and read those cues. 90% of communication is through body language. Only 10% of it is through words. And so when you're dealing with somebody directly, you want to deal with them in a very soulful, very tender, non-judgmental. But you also, as an empath, you don't want to get carried away. Stay firm, keep your boundaries, because as empaths, all right, we will be those ones. Once you do show that individual that you are someone that will listen, you are somebody that they can come to for answers, for some solace, they will always want to come to do that. So now you've got somebody who is become addicted to this. You don't want that to happen. You want to stand firm. You want to make sure that there's boundaries set. I've gone through this a million times, and that's the last thing you want to do. This will now create a codependent relationship, and you don't want that to happen, okay? But you do want to help somebody think for themselves and develop the capacity to find the answers to their own problems. And you being there, helping them, direct them to that, and connecting that to their energy, using your intuition fully, will put you in a successful position every time. And so, I thought it was important to share that. I really believe that highly emotionally intelligent people are, next to spiritually intelligent people, are the most successful. The most successful leaders are highly emotionally intelligent, okay? It has nothing to do with the IQ. It's all about the EQ. IQ is great, but EQ is even better, yeah? And empaths, you've got it. You know, many of you suffer from insecurity and feel like maybe you can't do a lot of things, but let me tell you, you can, and you will. And it's an awesome feeling to know that you have that incredible, I don't want to call it power in this way, but I guess there is no other really way to put it. Let me skip this ad. Sorry. But we do have that strength. It's incredible strength, and it's needed more than ever in today's crazy society where so many people, many other empaths that are out there that feel alone, that feel burned out, and just not heard, not understood, very lonely, particularly as introverts, you know, that have the tendency to hide and become hermits, and that are somewhat prideful and afraid to come out. This is when you need to step up and not be afraid and utilize those amazing skills and that fantastic intuition that you have. And if you do that, you will find yourself a successful woman in your business, whatever that may be. And so there you have it. I thank you for watching this video. Please hit the like button or the subscribe and all of that we do here on YouTube. And make sure you come back for more videos just like this, because it's my intention that we all become successful in the areas that we're going for. This is our life's purpose. This is what we said we were going to do. This is what we have pledged to ourselves to do, and the commitment we're making should be number one, okay? Because this commitment's no small thing. You really do have to have the mental strength and the fortitude to forge ahead, and I believe in you, and I think you can do it. So, all right. Love you. She'll see you soon. I hope you had something that you could take away from this, and that you could actually use and utilize yourself, not only in your life, but in your business. So I thank you for stopping by. Please come back. I love you. Bye. Ooh.